Shelia's pudding is an adaptation of the classic Eve's pudding from Jamie Oliver's cookbook, The Return of the Naked Chef. Jamie uses peaches. I'm not a massive fan of peaches, so I'm using pears. This is an easy classic Victoria sponge recipe with fruit and an easy dessert to knock up when you're tight on time. I've been making this since I was a teenager, so here goes. For this sponge, I have these wonderful pears, which when baked are going to be absolutely delicious. They're pretty straightforward to prepare as well. I quarter and then core them. Make sure the stalks are off, top and tail in other words. I've already given these a nice wash so I know they are good to go. I'm going to parboil them before I bake them. And whilst I'm here, I'm going to add some delicious flavour in the form of a vanilla pod. These are expensive, I know, but the rest of the dish is pretty cheap to make, so I can justify the cost with this luxury flavouring. To sweeten them, some demerara sugar goes in and a touch of water. When simmered, this is going to create a bit of a syrup, which is going to be lovely. Now I'm going to make my sponge, which is going to sit on top and around the baked pears. I'm using butter, which has been taken out of the fridge an hour or so before I'm ready to bake. Measure this out and add castor sugar. The name of the game now is to cream these together. An electric whisk makes things easier, but you can do it with a hand whisk as well. You just need a bit more muscle. Once you have these creamed, I add in a couple of eggs and beat in. This is a rustic sponge recipe. You can get away with making it this way. Some bakers would look at my technique and say it's all wrong, as you may split the eggs, not dribbling the beaten egg mixture in a bit at a time. But baking this dessert for many years, I assure you, it doesn't make a difference. Lastly, I weigh out my self-raising flour and add in. Again, if I was doing things classically, I should be using a metal spoon to fold in, but I can get away with it and it doesn't affect the final sponge. I promise. I've made my two mixtures, one with a hand whisk, one with an electric whisk. Check out these final consistencies. To make sure the final sponge doesn't stick, grease the baking dish with butter and a touch of sugar as well. This will give a slightly golden crunch, which will be beautiful. Add the pears in and dollop the sponge mixture in and around the fruit. The beauty of this is it's not perfect and it can be knocked together in no time at all. You don't need to bother smoothing it over, keep it rustic. Pop this into a preheated oven and bake for around 30 minutes. Whilst this is happening, I'm going to make this beautiful custard, and this is where the other half of the vanilla pod can work its magic and can be used to make a delicious custard. Separate 3 eggs and add some cream into a saucepan. You can measure this, but I'm just going to eyeball it. Add the vanilla pod into the cream and the castor sugar to the eggs. Now heat the cream slowly and let the vanilla infuse in. Once it comes up to simmering point, take off the heat, pour slowly into the eggs and sugar mixture, whisking all of the time. This will avoid any lumps. Put back onto the heat and stir whilst it thickens. So it is really that simple. I do love this pudding because you can use any fruit you want. Obviously I've used pears today, Jamie used peaches. Obviously if you use apples, it's going to be more of a classic Eve's pudding. And that vanilla pod, I know they're not cheap, but they are brilliant and they do inject a lot of flavour. And it does take it from something quite basic to something a little bit more special. So it is really, really good. You could serve this with creme fraiche, double cream, ice cream. There's a few different options. I love custard, and I think it goes really nicely with this. Oh my, that is so delicious. The sponge is so soft and so flavoursome, and the fruit, the pears are cooked through really nicely, and of course the custard. I think without anything like custard it would be a bit dry, so you definitely need something like that. The combination is lovely, and it's just a really comforting, easy kind of dessert to do at home. Yeah, so just something you can knock up very quickly and you can put in front of your family or your friends, and they're going to really enjoy it. So thank you for watching my video today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Why not hit that like button if you did. If there's anything in particular you want me to cook, then why not let me know in the comments below, and I will catch you next time.